Hey guys, Civil Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series. It's either Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, but to me, it's Star Wars Clone Wars, hands down. But today we're taking a look at one of two recently released female Jedis in the line, Shaak T, and not to be confused with Big Mama Ahsoka, because she's the same race as Ahsoka Tano. Those of you not in the know. That said, this is of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, who will remain fine folks despite the fact that it took us a hot minute to get this character, didn't it? After all the Disney Plus BS and just flat up stuff nobody asked for, we are finally getting a main member of the Jedi Council from the prequel trilogy. And since it is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, perfect timing for that, but god dang. We probably could have got this chick a few years ago and she would have sold just as good, if not possibly better, because I don't know if the hype is still there for these characters. I don't follow Star Wars as much as I used to. That's because the main guy on YouTube that reports Black Series news is a freaking bozo, but we won't name names here, but if you know, you know. That said, a female Jedi, not a common thing, at least not to me. I have not watched that series, The Acolyte, because, oh, I'm indifferent and don't care. But as far as the prequels and the Clone Wars go, we got Shaak T, Aayla Secura, Luminara Unduli, and if you want to count her, Ahsoka Tano. As far as I know, that is it. Wouldn't hurt to have a little more diversity, not gonna lie. I mean, I swear, we got more female Sith Lords than female Jedis, but it is what it is. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Shaak T has to offer in terms of accessories. Only accessories are lightsaber, and in true lightsaber fashion, you can pull the blade out of the hilt and plug it right back in. It's got a little peg there. It can peg on her belt somewhere, but I usually just put them in their hands. That way I don't have a bunch of blades in storage. Other than that, you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. So, taking a closer look at Shaak T. She's got a decent soft goods robe. I'm not a fan of Hasbro soft goods, if I'm being honest. I mean, we've seen way better from independent companies at this point. But, you know, it doesn't hinder the beautiful butterfly she's got. And she's got probably one of the best butterflies for a... Holy crap. Best butterflies for a Black Series. You can move it this far forward and this far back. And for a Black Series, that's really good. And because of the robe, it hides it. So you don't even gotta worry about what the sculpt looks like underneath it, because it's covered by soft goods. So yeah, really impressive butterfly joint on that. I would say that's probably as good as that Marvel Legends Black Widow that everyone's ranting and raving about. But as far as the rest of her articulation goes, her head can turn side to side and look up and down. It's on a double ball peg, and it's not that hindered, but with the robe, you don't get a lot out of it. And one thing to note about the robe is the hood is actually stitched to the back, so it sits down, even though she does have this tendril here that will keep it down. But another thing, the scarf is actually glued in to the back of her neck, so you don't got to worry about it flopping all over the place, which in one hand is good, but in the other hand, it would be nice to tuck the robe under the scarf too. But it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. That said, her shoulders can, of course, pop out, back down. They can rotate forward and back. She does have single-jointed elbows with rotation. Swivel hinge wrists with the appropriate hinge for holding stuff, at least. So there is that. Not sure if her torso is the same as Ahsoka, but it feels awfully similar. She does have a ball joint in the waist, but it doesn't do a lot as far as leaning and tilt goes. So there is that. As far as her legs go, these are like the exact same legs as Aayla Secura. So they can kick out pretty well. Kick forward, down. She does have a thigh cut, double knee, and a boot cut with a hinge in the foot, and a rocker joint, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. But because she is flat-footed, unlike Aayla Secura, she can stand up just fine. So that's nice. I like my figures not flopping all over like a bunch of dominoes. But getting her lightsaber in her hand. I will say, I think the grip could be a little tighter on the grip hands. Maybe the hands could be a little stiffer, or the plastic used. It just feels like they're going to drop these constantly, and that's kind of annoying. But yeah, see, you can see it just slips right out. It won't totally slip out, but it won't totally like stay secure in there. It wiggles in there, and I ain't into stuff wiggling in my figure's hands, you know what I mean? So, as stupid as that may sound, that's all I got for Shaak T. I will say I do like the kind of kabuki mask-inspired design in her face. That's kind of what that reminds me of, somewhat, kind of, sort of. But, cool figure. I like her quite a bit. But she is not perfect, but she's not bad by any means. So with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Shaak T alongside the only other female Jedis from the prequels and or the Clone Wars, unless, again, you want to throw Ahsoka Tano in there. We have Aayla Secura, who I looked at some time ago, well over a year ago at this point, and the other newly released female Jedi, Luminara Unduli. And as you can see, Shaak T is the tallest because of her little, I don't know what you want to call those, tendril antenna thingies on top of her head. And Aayla Secura, if we don't count accoutrements on top of the noggin, is the tallest because she's got heels instead of flat boots like both Shaak T and Luminara have. That said, Luminara is, of course, the shortest because, well, she just is. So getting these two out of the way, I will have a review of Luminara going up either later today or tomorrow, depending on when this review goes up. But rest assured, we will be getting to that. Because I think I've looked at all the Jedis on this channel. I've looked at Kit Fisto, I've looked at Plo Koon. Of course, I've looked at Aayla Secura, as I just mentioned, so it just makes sense that we talk about her as well. And Ki-Adi-Mundi. Can't forget old Conehead. But bringing in our two regulars, we got the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith and the infamous Elephant Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone because, well, he's a 7-inch scale figure. And Star Wars Black tends to lean really close towards actual 1/12 scale, which is actually 6-inch, not like Marvel Legends, which are more like, I don't know, 6.5, 6 3/4 inches tall. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the fact that it took way too long to not only get this character, but the other female Jedi in question in the Life of the Black series line, yes, I am very happy with good old Shaak T here. And aside from, I guess, being pinless, there's really nothing I have to say that would really improve this figure otherwise. I think she is great. I guess the other thing is the soft goods aren't perfect, but at this scale, for this price point, they're not the worst thing ever, but the biggest complaint for me are the sleeves sticking up a little bit when you're trying to pose her around. It's just a little cumbersome to work around, but nothing too terrible. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.